Okay, people, here we are again with another video. I know it's been a while, but I'm trying to keep the pace. I'm trying to keep it coming. And the last video I put up for the contemporary vanities, I got a pretty good response on them. So I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be putting a lot more videos now. Right here in this video, we're gonna be making it's a built-in closet. Now this closet's gonna go inside a small room between two walls. So I do have to make it in two pieces. That'll make it an easy to install. Right here I'm just cutting the frame, the pieces of the frame first. Also I want to pass all the pieces of the frame on the planer just so that it could all be the same thickness. Sometimes when you buy wood in the lumber yard, it's not always exact same thickness. So I always want to put it through a planer. It helps out. So once I built the frame, it could be an easy to do the sanding. Now here I will be making the, how do you call, the rabbet? You can say the rabbet or the groove for the quarter-inch groove, so that I can snap it on the panels, the side walls. Now I'm trying to get a little bit more clean on my pieces. Now I added this little how it's called, it's an attachment for the vacuum. It just helps keeping more clean the shop. Here you can see the groove. It's a quarter-inch thick by half-inch deep. And right here I'm cutting the side panels for the actual bodies. Now, like I said earlier, I am doing it in two pieces, so I have to cut 4 walls. Then I do the router. It's just like the rabbet cut, and they'll make it a quarter-inch by half-inch deep tongue. That way I can snap the face frame in place. Now the face frame on these, I'm doing I'm assembling a little different. I'm not making the frame first and then putting it on the side wall panels. No, I'm actually making gluing on the frame, pieces of the frame to the panels as I go along already. I love using these Porter cable routers. I mean, they actually don't make them anymore. Once I have all the walls with that tongue, like you can see there, then I can, or of course the dado for the dado cut. It's a half-inch for the deck of the closet. I do have, since I'm using a half-inch plywood, I go as deep as about 3/16 of an inch deep, and of course the dado is half-inch wide. Now I will be gluing the frame, part of the frame. As you can see, it's an easy fit, and that way you can't get it wrong. I mean, for sure the wall panel is going to be straight. Sometimes plywood could be a little curve or something, and when you do a tongue and groove, it always makes for a perfect assembly. Put on some pipe clamps, wait for it to dry, then I'll start building the box. Here I'm cutting the deck and the deck and the top of the two pieces, the two boxes actually. Now when I'm cutting them, I mean, of course I'm sure a lot of you know this, but when I'm cutting plywood, I also like to use saw blades that are for fine finish. That way it doesn't leave you any splinter on the other end of the ply. Gives you a clean cut. I use the feud the Diablo discs. They have for the fine finish. I believe it's 100 teeth on a 12 inch blade. And here you see how I'm assembling the deck. I love using these Amana countersinks. I mean, they're very sharp and it keeps your job very accurate. That way, your screws won't be going out on top of the deck or on the bottom. Put on some glue and then we can do the assembly. I'm making the closet. It has to be ash, but I'm doing the frame is ash, but the body I'm actually just using birch plywood, and I'm gonna be covering the inside with a 1/4 inch plywood of with ash veneer. Since it's kind of hard to find right now, like ash plywood, 1/2 inch or 3/4 inch. That's why I'm using 1/2 inch birch plywood with 1/4 inch ash plywood veneer. And it's just it probably takes a little longer, yes, but like I said, it's hard to find right now any 1/2 inch solid plywood with ash veneer, so I'm going only with 1/4 inch. Right here, I'm building the whole body now. Now it's two pieces, and it's gonna have a divider in between the two, but the divider is gonna go on one piece and it's not gonna go on the other. That way, when I put them together, you only see one pole on the frame in between. You don't see two. Right here, I'm putting the nailers in the back. I just use 3/4 inch plywood. Put some nails on it, then screw it in place. Again, I use the countersink, a Mano tool countersink. I recommend all when you're gonna be using screws. It's always good to have a countersink. It gives you the pilot hole and the other hole for the head of the screw to go inside. I mean, it's very easy and it comes out a lot more smoother when you screw it in place. I do the bottom. I do on the top and on the bottom also. Right here, I will be cutting for the rails, the top frame and the bottom middle frame. I like using this edge sander. I mean I pass through all my when I make frames. I always pass them through, as you can see here, on both ends, both sides actually, so that it's already sanded, and it takes away the lines that the saw blade leaves when you cut it in the stable saw. And that way I don't have to do it after it's already assembled. I don't have to sand it again through the inside, which sometimes when you try to do that, it could disfigure your frame a bit. You sand it too much, you round off the edges, so I try to avoid that. That's why I use the edge sander. I love this Craig pocket hole machine. I mean, it's so easy. I mean, it lasts long. I've had it already for about 4 or 5 years, and I use it frequently and it's still going strong. Right here I'm gonna start cutting, because I actually do on all my kitchens and most of anything that uses toe kick. I always like making the toe kick separate from the body, and then I screw it through the bottom. It's always easier. I mean, you save more wood, and I mean, like I say it's easier because sometimes when a piece is too big, too tall, and it won't fit by a couple inches, you can just unscrew the toe kick, put it inside wherever it's going inside of the house, and then you could screw back the toe kick in place once it's inside. Now it's very simple. I use I always leave all my toe kicks 4 inches high, and I make the toe kicks out of just half-inch ply. As you can see here, and of course I put corners. I nail in the corners. You can see right now. And I make these corners out of just the 3/4 plywood. Also, all my leftover wood, I just cut a lot of corners and put them aside because I use them a lot. I use them on the frames of the top of the kitchens and on toe kicks. I mean, I use these corners quite a lot, and I make them out of just scrap wood, scrap pieces of 3/4 inch plywood actually. And you can see here where the toe kick goes. Like I said, I put it on separate, and I just screw it on through there. You'll see right now. Just screw it in place, and then it's easier to drag around, move it around. Once my toe kick's in place, then we can start gluing the leftover pieces of the frame. From the deck to the deck and the front of the rail of the frame, I leave a 1/4 inch the frame higher than the deck because I am gonna put a 1/4 inch plywood with the ash veneer on top also, and that'll make it flush. Like I said, I use the pocket hole a lot. It's great to use. If you're not used to using the pocket hole machine and the pocket hole assembly, I mean, you should try it. I didn't used to do this before, but I use it all the time now. These pocket hole assembly is good. It's very strong, especially if you use the correct screws. I mean, I use always the Craig screws, and they're very strong. It won't not snap. It holds in place, and I just think it's awesome, and it makes your work a lot easier. Right here, I'm screwing on the second toe kick for the other body. And you will see right now how I assemble the two bodies to be one closet. And you see just one body has the full frame, the other one's missing one piece because it goes together. So you can see there. That way you just see one middle piece of the frame and you don't see two together. There you go. That's the complete piece. The outside, the boxes. Now to go along with adding dividers. This divider is gonna divide the drawers to the upper space. In the upper space, they're gonna be putting hangers to hang clothes. Then now I set it in place, screw it on, just put a few screws. I use a screw insert. I put them on one end on one box, and then I put the screws through the other box. You see those holes there? They already have inserts, and that'll make it a very quick assembly for a very quick installation. That's the goal here, to make it as simple to install as possible, but you also want to keep the the quality still the same. So I just started using this system where I put inserts, and it already has the hole in the insert to where the screw is gonna go, and there's no way to just mistake or it's not level together. Once you assemble it back in where you're installing, it's always gonna be where it should, because of those inserts, of course. Now here I'm putting on the other piece of the frame, the divider. Now I am leaving a 1/4 inch higher than the deck of the divider, because I will be adding, like I said earlier, a 1/4 inch plywood that's gonna have the ash veneer, so it could look like ash all inside. Putting the other side of the frame. Now here, after this, I will be putting the bottom divider. That's what's gonna this divider that I'm putting now right here. It's gonna divide the drawers with the shoe rack. At the very bottom is gonna have a shoe rack, which is just gonna be 2 cubicles on each piece, on each side. So we're gonna have a total of 4 cubicles for shoes. Here using the pocket hole again. And it's like I said, it's such a good system. If you don't use it, thinking because it's not strong enough or so, I thought the same thing. But once I started using this pocket hole system, I mean, it just works a lot better. It's a lot faster. It makes your work a lot easier. Now on this side, where I'm putting this piece right here on this frame, that one's not gonna that the frame is not gonna be glued to the other frame, to the other panel, because of course it's gonna have to be able to accept to come apart. So I'm putting this extra piece to hold it in place. So when I take it apart, the wall of the left piece of the closet, it's gonna keep staying in place, and this is gonna hold it in place with this with the front frame and the side wall. Since I, like I said, I'm not putting glue on the tip of this rail where it meets the other cabinet, because it has to come, of course it's gonna have to come apart. As you can see there, that one's gonna hold it in place, and then we add the other one. Now this one, of course, we do glue both ends, and with the pocket hole system literally cuts your time almost in half for sure. And there we go. We have the complete frame here now. Now from there, we just gotta start working on for the drawers that go in the middle. It's two drawers on each side in the middle. It's almost there. Right here, I'm cutting the quarter-inch ash. You can see that. That's ash. It had the ash veneer. It's just quarter-inch plywood with ash veneer. They had a lot of that available, so I just bought a lot of sheets of quarter-inch with ash veneer, and I'm putting that inside the whole cabinet, and it'll show like if it's made out of ash. See? I mean, it's like a little extra work, but you know what? If you, like I said, when you can't find a half-inch ply on ash, they only have 1/4 inch. So hey, I just made it this way. Just cover the inside. Easy assembly. Just put some glue on it. I'm only using a 23 gauge pin nailer here. Holds it in place with the glue. Easy. In my videos, I mean, I'm trying to show other ways of making furniture when it could help you do a quicker assembly, make the whole piece easier, and not losing any of the quality. I mean, it's like I said, this just makes it easier. It's just an easier way to make these pieces. I mean, you can do it however you want, but this way works for me, and I believe it looks great. Here I'm covering all the inside with the ash veneer, with the 1/4 inch plywood on ash veneer. And like I said, I used the 23 gauge pin nailer. That way, sometimes you don't even have to put any filler because the hole is very small. Right here, I'm adding the spacers for the for the undermount drawer slides. I use a template. It's always easier just to use a template. It's easier to put on the spacers, and as long as you keep using like a jig to hold it in place straight, like I am using here, your drawer will run smoothly because the slides are perfectly aligned. There you go. You see, it's a lot easier to do it this way. And I use it with scrap pieces of wood that I have left over. And here you see, I have all the spacers in place. I forgot before I put the undermounts, I have to router out the back part for the backing. I'm gonna use the 1/4 inch plywood for the back. So I router out do a rabbet in the back for the plywood. And once I do that, then I give it a little sanding. I'm doing these steps now because I will be putting on the slides, the drawer slides, and it's better to do this sanding now, uh, so that once the drawer slides are on, they won't get filled with dust, with sawdust. And I'm just doing a quick sand. Actually, it's just making the all the frame to be level with everything on the joints. Now here we will be putting on the back part, all the back parts. Set it in place. Now I'm only gonna hold it in place with a couple screws because I am gonna take them back off so that they could put the finish on it. It just makes it a lot easier to put finish like that. There you go. See, the back part looks real nice. That's ash. Now I am putting on the covering of the ash ply where the nail alert is. I believe I didn't show it on the video, but I did put it on. There it's coming along. Using the countersink and put some screws in the back. Hold it in place. I'm just putting a couple so that they can take them off to put the finish on. But when I install, I will assemble it complete with more screws to hold it in place, since it's not going to be coming out of that room anymore. And there you go. It's practically, the body is complete. Right here, let's just put on the undermount slides. I use again a little template to hold it straight in place. It will not fail you like this, and it'll keep it really straight from front to back so that your drawer could run smoothly. Take off the piece. Now it's straight, and we have all the four slides in place. Here are the drawer boxes. I just make them out of birch plywood. I use the birch plywood double finish UV, and I make the drawers like that. I mean, it's a lot of easier. It's of course it's not a dovetail. This is just an easier way of making drawers. They're very strong. I mean, it looks really nice too. You'll see it now. You'll see it in a bit. Put on the undermount clips. I like this little it's like a pulse screw driver from DeWalt. Real nice, easy. I gotta router out a groove in the back of the drawer for the pin of the undermount slide to go there. Now let's put it in. It's ready to go into the cabinet. Let's see if we did a good job. You see the inside of the drawer looks actually nice. It's very clean. And I put edge banding around the top. There you go. Putting in all the drawers, and then we can start putting on the faces of the drawers. I didn't have 3/4 inch pieces of plywood with ash, so I just got a 1/2 inch and I glued a 1/4 inch with ash veneer in the front. So now it makes it about 3/4 to 5/8 to 3/4. That's the face of the drawer, and that's how it goes. Now I will be putting edge banding around the face of the drawer to cover the plywood. Before I put the drawer faces in place, I do have to make the and right now I'm setting up where I'm gonna be like for the shoe rack. It's just a shelf, but I put it in an angle. Just a small angle, not too much. You see the angle here on this template? It's just a little bit of angle. Put on the shelf supporters. Now I'm not using any pins here because I want it to be a little bit strong, and plus it's gonna be pretty much fixed. There you go. Put the other one on. And we do that on both. And this is the shelf for the shoe rack. I made a small angle on the face of the shelf because it's going to be leaning forward. And you see, I'm just going to cover it with the 1/4 inch plywood of ash veneer. And you got an ash shelf. And watch how it goes easy into place. There you go, your shoe rack. Pretty much this is almost complete. Let's just put the faces of the drawers and we're ready for finish. Now when I put the faces of the drawers, I get a piece of stock that I got left over, a very thin. It could be a 1/8 thick, and I can use it to give me the gap in the bottom. And it helps to line up the drawers. Well, the drawer faces. I put a pin nail just to hold it in place. Once I do that, I open up the drawer, as you can see right now. I will open up the drawer. Yeah, there you go. Looks nice. Let's open up the drawer here, and I put screws from the inside of the box. And there you go. That's how we put our face frame. A drawer face. We do that. After doing all that to the 4 drawers, here's the finished piece. Now it's finished, complete, and ready to put the finish on. Now I didn't make a video of putting the finish on. It was another process, but this is one coat first. I will be having the second coat right now. In a few seconds you'll see the complete color. You'll see how it looks with the pulls, the handles. Well, not really handles, they're pulls. The client provided these. I put them in place, and we have a finished product. Right now you will see how it looks installed. Now we're at the very end of the video. Thanks again for watching my videos. I'm trying hard to make them better each time. Please subscribe if you like my video. Any comments, you're welcome. And here's the end piece. Thanks for watching, you guys. Please subscribe.